So today is the conclusion of a 6-week series of sharing our experiences of feeling God in our walk and in our lives. We have been calling them the Mountaintop moments. They are online. If you haven't had a chance to watch the ones from the 10 o'clock service that you weren't there for, they are there. They are diverse and inspiring and amazing. And so we're concluding today with our Director of Faith Formations, Barbara Runco. She's going to share her Mountaintop moment with you. So please welcome Barbara to our podium.
About a year and 9 months after my son was born, I was sitting in the parking lot at a shopping center at Fairmont University, you may know it, and I was writing a menu for Thanksgiving. At the time, I was considering whether or not I was going to make my mom's twice-baked potatoes. They were made with love. They took extra work. They take 2 days to make if it's right before Thanksgiving. They're super simple, butter, salt, and pepper. And I love to eat them. Growing up, I would even eat the outside of it. So they were just my fave. So in that moment, as I was debating whether to make them or not and keep that tradition going, something happened. The incredible feeling that came over me was a rush. It overwhelmed me, and I didn't understand it. I just wept. I don't even know what I did. If I put my phone down, I have no idea. At that moment, this emotion came over me, and I just cried. Afterwards, I thought about it, and I thought it was a wave of grief. It had been something that had been discussed in a grief support group I had been going to help me mourn my mother, who had passed. Even though it was a year and 9 months after my mom died, I hadn't mourned her yet. So this group was really my salvation at that time. Because you see, in that moment when I felt all of those feelings, I couldn't describe it and I wept. I still couldn't fully feel it. I was so scared of big emotions. A lot had happened to me and my family in a short period of time. My mom was sick for my 3rd trimester when I was pregnant with my son Kai, who you may know. And she went into hospice the day before Christmas Eve. And then she died a month later on January 27th. And then my son was born 3 weeks later. I couldn't attend the funeral because I was too pregnant to fly back to New York. I made a hard choice at that point to take care of my baby and myself and come back to San Diego and miss so much of my mom's wake and funeral and all the things that my family does to grieve. And I miss doing it with them. So you see, when I was sitting in that parking lot, I was still learning how to feel emotions again. When I thought it was a wave of grief, that was the only way I could describe it because I couldn't even feel anything then. Later on, I thought about that moment in the parking lot, and I actually sat down and felt the feelings. Really went through it and had that courage to feel it for the first time. And I experienced the overwhelming feelings of my mother, of all that I loved about her, of all the ways she loved me, the way she smiled, the way she hugged me, the way she kissed me. That's actually what I felt in that moment in that parking lot. That essence of her, it wasn't a wave of grief. It was just her coming through me. And I can imagine my mom was enthusiastic about that she had a conversation with God, and he said, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to go see your daughter? And I said, Mom said, sure, that sounds great, because Mom was always enthusiastic, and she wasn't tapped into what was going on earth with me, right? So I'm sure it was an unsettling feeling for her, too, when she came through me, and I just freaked out. But today I invite it. I hope that would happen again. I could totally handle it now. I wouldn't be freaked out, but I'll probably cry and just take it in and let it wash over me. That day in the parking lot, God gave me a gift. He gave me my mom. I couldn't really appreciate it at the time, so I did a lot of personal work since then to feel it. I wasn't letting anything in then, but you can't last that way, not letting anything in, not the good or the bad. And yes, I did the work so that I could revisit that moment anytime I want to feel my mother, and I always have that gift with me from God. And as for the twice baked potatoes, I learned in therapy that I don't have to do everything at once. I no longer panic about losing more of my mother's memory when I don't continue a tradition. I also honor my time, energy, and listen to my feelings. Those twice baked potatoes are a lot of work when you have a small child. Now I trust that if it's important, I will include them when the time is right. Thank you.